Mama G. Hello. Welcome to my channel. And I'm sorry it's been a while since I posted something on my channel. Now I'm back, and for today's video, I would like to share with you this wonderful book called the Overseas Fabulous Pinay. Yeah, it's written by Donna Avellana Künzler. So what is this book all about? It says here, a modern Filipinas handbook on how to thrive abroad. So as the title of the book suggests, that this is specifically for those Filipinos, Pinays, Pinoys who wanted to live abroad. So I would like to share with you my opinion, having been in Germany for 11 years now. I started as a student, and then I went to work in the pharma industry, and the rest is history. I have now my own family here, so I really live here now. So I can really relate from this book. I wish I had a copy already of this book 11 years ago. And I wish I got a hold of this book already when I transitioned from being a student to a working professional here in Germany. So to begin with, so there are 8 chapters of this book. The first 3 chapters are more like the preparations. The first 2 chapters are about when you are not yet in a country, in an overseas country where you aim to be residing. So it's I have here my notes. Enough for you to maybe tickle your minds and tickle your interest, so you can so you would like to grab a copy of the book. Caveat, this is not a paid promotion. This is really out from the reason that she's a Filipina like me, and she's an inspiration because she's able to write a book and publish it here in the EU, which is something I aim in the future. And yeah, so, and also I can relate a lot to the book, being myself also an overseas Pinay and hopefully fabulous. So the first 2 chapters is talks about the things that you need to do while you are still in the Philippines. So the first step is, if you're one of those Pinoys or Filipinos who is dreaming, or who has the intention really to work abroad or to live abroad, not just for tourism, it's really residing abroad. You need to have a certain skill set, no, in order for you to be able to live abroad, because this is not your home country. It's not a comfort zone for you. So she actually itemized there the skills you need to have or you need to learn before embarking into the journey of living abroad. So she pointed out there, and if you read the book, it would be a good tips for you. Just remember, like, the gist is that your parents are not there anymore when you live abroad. No more ates, no more kuyas, no more yayas or lola who would be able to help you right away because you just live next door, or an hour away, 30 minutes away. No, it's a different one. And yeah, so she, in the chapter 1, she already tells you things that itemize to you, help you already, the things you need to learn or unlearn for you to be able to be ready to be residing abroad. Yeah, so that's the first chapter. So on the second chapter is it's about when you already have those skill set, then you are ready but not yet fully ready. So you have to have all the checklist. So she gives you some points, sort of checklist. What are the things you need to prepare? What are the homework you need to do? So this is in the chapter 2, for example. So you already know where you want to go. Like, for example, if you want to go to Germany, what are the things you need to learn culture-wise, weather, etc., etc. So she of course, you already know that coming from the Philippines, maybe it's a country where you need a visa and all that. So it's one of the immediate things you that comes to mind, no? But then there are other things which maybe only an experienced person, only those who have been abroad would be able to tell you. And she points that out there, and she summarized that for you in chapter 2. So it's really a very good guide, no, this book. So it's basically about get as much information as possible. And what are these information? She points it out there. And then on the 3rd chapter, she talks about when you finally landed. So the moment you land in the country where you want to be, where you want to reside, either for work or as a student, then these are the things you need to be mindful of. So it's also like, for example, in my case, I needed to, for example, it is required for me to register in the city hall my appearance or my attendance, or no, not really, my new address, no? So I need to have, for example, a contract first of if I'm going to rent a room or rent a flat or an apartment. I need to have the contract so I can already give it to the register. And what are the, for example, the which comes first? Is it the getting the lease contract, or is it registering first? So it depends where you are going to, but these are just main things that she mentioned there. For example, that is very helpful for you to settle down. Yeah. So for me, I didn't have this complete list. I just discovered this on my own based on my experience. I was just thrown in the wild, and it was really my first out of the country experience. I have not even traveled beforehand as a tourist, and I went directly to come here to Germany to study and to really live here. And the rest is history. It's been 11 years since then. So she points all those tiny details, which I believe, as someone who has also experienced, who have been here for 11 years, is very much helpful, which I hope I had those already listed. I had a handy book like this to grab or to buy before coming here. So, and then she mentioned about another thing I just want to add on chapter 3. It's really a comprehensive list from looking for a flat to having a contract to knowing your environment, etc., etc. So she puts more details there. So if you want to, it's really if you are this person who would like to reside or is on the way to coming to, for example, in the EU, in one of the EU countries, or it could be anywhere, not outside the Philippines. So this is really a good guide. And number 4, chapter 4, she talks about the working life, the professional life. She shared her experiences. She has a lot of anecdotes, a lot of examples, practical examples, how she went about, how she overcome, for example, certain obstacles in the workplace. Yeah, it's a good thing. What else? So a lot of situations, scenarios in the workplace, a lot of personal experience she shared. That's what I'm telling you already. And for example, this Filipino time, if you know, for sure it's no longer applicable outside the Philippines. It cannot be. Like for me, I'm really if you have been here for a while and you're still late, I would really be disappointed in you, because hello, for example, we are not anymore in the Philippines, and Filipino time doesn't work. I mean, it should not work, right? So it shouldn't be. So things like that. So cultural, how it is. Like for example, when I coming from the Philippines, quite maybe more loose. The working environment, the working atmosphere. Here in Germany, people really tend to work like very focused during the day. Some would even eat at their desk and continue working. Yeah, and at the beginning, I was really conscious that I would make like I would have a lot of breaks, for instance, and people would notice it, for example. So in the end, I also adopted their kind of work, which is really focused. That's why at the end of the day, I'm so tired, because it's really pure work. Like, I don't know, I'm not sure even if I will have. I normally get a 15-minute break. Like, sometimes I have break, I go to the toilet, but that's it. No, yeah. Okay, and then chapter 5, she mentioned about maybe it's more like managing your emotions, especially if you're alone abroad. You'll be homesick, that's for sure. So she mentioned how to do it, how to cope with it. Like, yeah. So she mentioned there, I'm not gonna spill all the details because it's not fair also. So for you to tell you to know all the details, you need to be able to, you need to read the book. So I'm just giving you a sneak peek, sort of. And she mentioned in this chapter, let me just check my okay, it also talks about basically about you being a toughie. You really need to rely that on yourself. Be like, you really have to be tough because you're alone. And yeah, and we Filipinos, we are mostly religious, so I believe most of us are would how do you call it, kumakapit sa faith natin. So we would hang on to our faith. And I think she did not mention that, but this is on my personal experience. And it takes a lot. It helps if you journal, for example, or if you connect. Nowadays, it's the internet era, so everything is like easy to connect with people, so wherever they are in the world. So yeah, she mentioned also this one in this chapter. She also mentioned this chapter how to manage visiting families. So yeah, all the expectations and all that. Yeah, so in this chapter, in chapter 6, she mentioned about creating friendships and connections. So the connections, it's somehow related to managing your emotions in chapter 5, homesickness. So she also pointed out that in chapter 6, you need to build, and how to build this networks and friendships, be it at work or personally, or finding, for example, local or Filipinos who also reside. There are also international people. It really helps to be also very internationally integrated. So it depends where you are, but where I am in Munich, there's a big international expat community. So there's a lot of these things. She has also tips on how to go about it, how to access all this, so you can build your friendships and networks. And this would really help you with your emotions, with managing your emotions while being abroad, while residing abroad. So that's the connection, chapter 5 and chapter 6. And then chapter 7, chapter 7. Oh, she introduced her formula, which I believe she's been successful with her formula of integrating. No, she has this OLA. So you observe, you learn, and you assimilate. That is the OLA for her. So to know more details about it, you have to check the book. And she actually summarized some guidelines or some questions to ask, how to assimilate or how to integrate, how to integrate fully in the environment or in the country where you transferred, where you reside now. Yeah, so let me just quickly go. So she has some lists or some questions to ask. It's important to ask the right questions, and she already provided that. So yeah, so what else? So in different scenarios, she mentioned yeah, she has some advice. Like what said, this book is full of anecdotes and personal experiences Yeah, it's very good, and it's actually very light to read. So a lot also are like very personalized, like you're talking to a friend. That's how I felt. That's how I felt when I was reading the book. It's like she was telling me all those, for example, bloopers in the workplace. We're in, yeah, for example, for us Filipinos, we love to sing, and of course, it's different in different cultures wherein they value so much, for example, silence or Ruhezeit or silence time in the German language. So this is totally different, no? So she mentioned that, for example. So it's, yeah, it's really nice. And important also is in chapter 8 she mentioned about financial management. Of course, you earn money, and it's quite bigger already compared to, of course, the conversion in peso. You would say, oh, I earn somehow a lot or a significant amount of money. But also it's very important, it's not how much amount of money you earn, but it's how you manage your money. Because even if you earned a lot of money, but if you are still spending so much, so it's not also good. So she itemized there what to do in chapter 8, especially that for example, in our culture, like for me, I need to send money all the time to my parents because they're old and I'm the only child, for example. In the context of that, in the context of also those who might ask money from you, I think it's our culture to be very family oriented and all that. But she mentioned about saving, about having financial goals. Although when I was growing up in the Philippines, I didn't really have I didn't have how do you call it? I didn't have a role model, no, in terms of financial management. It's only now that I have all these Excel files for all my financial in a monthly basis. So I really manage it. I'm just learning it now, to be honest. And how I wish I got a hold of this book or any books, or have learned any of the financial management lessons. Maybe I learned it in the past, but maybe I was not listening so much. But I've asked friends, and it's not very common in the Philippines that we know that we are financially literate. I think it's very famous now. It's getting really famous, but when I was growing up, when I started working, I didn't really have this one. So it's good that she pointed this out here. So you are also reminded that to manage that also when you are working, earning here already abroad. Yeah. And then chapter 9 is to how to maintain being fabulous. I think what she meant here with being fabulous is more like to invest in yourself. It doesn't mean, I think in my opinion, it doesn't mean to be just fabulous like you have nice bags and nice clothes and all that. It's really more like managing your whole self, financially, emotionally, professionally, and personally, with your relationships, whichever part of your life. Yeah, it's the whole totality of thing, and how to maintain that. She actually guides you like a guru or like a coach. I'm giving you all the guide questions, or making you ask the important questions for you to be able to reflect on your own. So it's really nice because she's not telling you this is how to be fabulous, blah blah blah, but it's more really like in this chapter, it's more really like guiding you, facilitating how to maintain being fabulous. So I hope with this review that I have, you gain a significant overview of this book, and I hope that you will grab a copy of this book, especially for Pinoys who are still in the Philippines, or even those who arrive here. There's a lot of nurses arriving here in Germany, for example, who's starting their career. So this is really a good book for you. So I suggest you grab a copy. I got this from Amazon. It's very easy. Yeah, so that ends my review. And if you like this kind of content, if you like the content of my channel, please, I would love it if you subscribe, to click the button there, subscribe button, click also the bell, and so you would be informed if I have a new content. And thank you so much for watching, and have a nice day wherever you are in the world. Bye bye.